Hi, everyone. I just wanted to do kind of a wrap up of our first class that we met on Monday night. Um, I try and do a wrap up every week just so that it kind of pushes us through the week because we only meet once. And then it also maybe provides a way for you to think forward on some of the things that are happening in our class. Uh, First of all, let me thank you for all of you for Monday night. I thought it was great. It was great to get to know all of you. I especially liked hearing many of your personal stories throughout your fruit snack chat. So I'm looking forward to a great semester working with all of you. Wanted to take care of some housekeeping things first. I'm on our wiki page right now. I just wanted to kind of encourage you and invite you to really look over some of the more procedural things of this class. I didn't really go into detail because I feel like that's something you could maybe do on your own time. Definitely get a feel for this site for sure. And then also with course resources, and especially the assessment practices, especially if you haven't done anything like this before. These are things that I would really love for you to pay attention to so that I can answer any questions that you might have about this process. We'll take this step by step as we unpack this semester. The next thing I want to do is to refresh your memory from Monday night to make sure that we're just kind of hitting the refresh button on some things that we talked about. Not only did we do fruit snack chat and introductions, but we also talked about pose, wobble, and flow with the idea of yoga, and we saw many of us wobble during that time. And then we also talked about the concept of pose, and those are the things that we think of that are really natural and really comfortable, and they're very easy to us. They stay within our own comfort zones. But then when we started talking about wobbling, we have this idea that when we get exposed to different perspectives and different texts and different ideas, it may challenge some of our poses and consider us to think in different ways. And if we pair that with flow, then the flow is a result of that wobble. And we might change our minds on things, or we might um, understand something in a different way. And I know I'm speaking in very generalities, but what I wanted to provide you tonight, which I encourage you to read over before we meet with each other on Monday, um, if you go to our course readings, and I'm going to click on here so we can go there together, you're going to see the Pose Wobble Flow Chapter 1. I'm not asking you necessarily to read in detail, but I am asking you to maybe skim over for those of you who are still kind of maybe left wondering, like, why were we doing yoga in class? Because I think it really deals with how we respond as teachers and what kind of text we bring in. And if we still stay in our natural poses as literacy teachers, then we don't introduce ourselves to new texts and new perspectives, no matter what content we teach. So I wanted to include that chapter for you to review. I also included a link, as you see here, the invisible knapsack. We're going to talk about how we position ourselves as readers and then within a literacy classroom in this upcoming week. So I think for you to glance over that will definitely give you an advantage of the discussions that we'll be going into coming up on Monday. I have another chapter of Pose, Wobble, Flow and from Literacy with an Attitude, but those are things that we're going to do in class, so you'll see no links there. The two that are linked here are just things I'm asking you to glance over between now and then. In addition to Pose, Wobble, Flow, we went over the course structure. Hopefully I had a chance to go over the class webpage with you, and you've had a chance to kind of maybe gain a little comfort from all of this. And then towards the end of the night, we talked about literacy is, and we kind of brainstormed some things that we knew about your experience as pre-service teachers in our program and different literacy courses. And you formulated a working definition, which I put right here at the very front. We're going to revisit this from time to time based on our experiences in class and the things that you're kind of unpacking yourself as a result of taking this class, and see if this, because it might be a working definition, see if we have to go back and revise it from time to time. So I'll be really interested to see how many of us may wobble this definition a little bit more and kind of change our flow. Lastly, to end our night, we had an opportunity to think about inquiry. inquiry process is definitely something that is to be mindful in a classroom, just because a lot of your standards really speak to inquiry, and we don't really know inquiry too much until we actually take ourselves through the process itself. So at the end of the night, I challenged you to think of something that you are interested in, something personal, something that you have a passion for, something that you've always wanted to try. But then I layered that with another lens that talks about a specific content. Now, some of you were working on topics and then also thinking about that lens. But we kind of ranged in people who knew what they really wanted and they knew the lens that they were going to do, to people who were just like, I have no idea. So one of the things I ask of you this week before we meet on Monday is that you're coming in pretty confidently with an idea that you want to stay committed to throughout this semester. There are 2 additional links, and I created a space for us here just as we unpack this together throughout our semester. I'm going to identify it right down here. So I have the initial guidelines, which are also linked up here to the required tasks. It's the same link. The brainstorming sheets that we worked with in class, that's just the digital copy for you to have access to. And then, as promised, I wanted to attach the proposal. Now, the proposal is something that we are going to be working on Monday in class, but if you're looking to get feedback on some ideas that you've been having, I might recommend, if you have some time, to do your proposal sooner rather than later, just so that can be something that we talk about throughout Monday night's section of inquiry. And I'm going to go ahead and click on that just so you kind of get familiar with it. If I were you, what I would do, definitely want to read over this. What I wanted to do is kind of create some sort of like writing guide, basically. You're free to copy quite a bit of this and then insert the things that are being explained. So if you copy and paste this into a document that you're working on, then obviously you would delete my directions and fill in the specifics for your inquiry. So feel free to definitely use my structure. I also included the inquiry model, or the inquiry process, I should say, just so that when you think about doing a timeline for yourself, if we're working on this for every Monday night, how are you going to take yourself through this timeline? Okay, one of the things to really think about is that as a learner of inquiry, that one of the big questions that we're going to be touching on throughout the course, and especially at the end of the course when you've experienced this, full circle, is based on your experience as a learner, what does that inform you as a teacher? So those are discussions that we're planning to have because you are putting yourself into the perspective of a student. And so if you continue to scroll down, I also gave you a few tips and tricks in terms of writing this proposal. One of the last things I wanted to kind of highlight with you, I'm going to go back to the class wiki page here. Hopefully you've had a chance to identify your student page, and I'm going to go ahead and click here. Everybody has a student page. This is where you're going to be posting your assignments. Keep in mind, reflection number 1 is going to be due after we get back from Labor Day. So if you were to click on your page and you see this blank working document, please know that you are all authors on this page. So you could go to create a page. You can create different pages that house your different assignments. And you can also embed and link and so on and so forth. So if you're thinking about your personal inquiry, like say for your proposal right away, you can create a page that has your name, personal inquiry, link it to your actual student page, and then you can also make pages within pages. If you've ever tinkered with a wiki before, you can know that this is kind of an endless linking rabbit hole if you want it to be. It doesn't have to be one long continuous page. Really try and think about this as a portfolio for yourself in this class, and you can design it how you want. This upcoming week, like I said, we're going to talk a little bit more about pose, wobble, and flow. I will be sharing the first weekly wobble report. Those of you who are going to be our observers this upcoming week, you may want to kind of read over the expectations for that. Those are also linked in our course resources. And we're going to talk about your invisible knapsacks and your perspectives as a reader. So thank you so much for Monday night. I look forward to next Monday. Please Slack me. Please email me if you have any questions. I'm here to help. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Bye.